Hi, welcome. My name is Lesley Donaldson. I'm with ITR Polygraph, and we are 2 days away from Mother's Day. So that is a celebration, that is a holiday, that is a worldwide recognition for all mothers of all walks of life all over the world. And having said that, it also comes with a lot of different emotions, comes with a lot of different feelings. Everybody's got a lot of different emotions and feelings sometimes towards their mother, or even how they feel about themselves being a mother. I just want to say a few things about that today because it's really been on my heart, and I've thought about this during the past few days of what we're going to talk about and what we're going to say, and I find myself very emotional about that, especially during this time of massive isolation and separation, social distancing and staying at home. We can't travel, we can't go here, we can't have gatherings. So normally, maybe your Mother's Day would have looked like a lot of travel and gone to see your mother. Maybe sometimes it looks like you can't get to travel to see your mother. Maybe it's because it's too expensive, maybe it's too far, for whatever reason, and you phone and you FaceTime. We do different things like that. And then there are people who they have a mom, but they don't call their mom. They have a mom and they're not allowed to call their mom. Maybe they have a mom and they don't know who their mom is. Maybe they are a mom and they were pregnant. Maybe they miscarried, but you're still a mom. Maybe you made the incredible, difficult decision in your life one time when you were pregnant to abort that child. You're still a mom. There are so many different feelings going on right now regarding so many different people, and sometimes we behave differently. The point of this Let's Talk video series today through ITR Polygraph is to address the relationships between ourselves and our moms, and also about our relationship between ourselves and wanting to be a mom. I know I've wanted to be a mom since I was a child. That's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a mother. I was actually very nervous that who would want to marry me? Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't pretty enough. Maybe this or that. What if somebody didn't want to marry me? I really wanted to be married. I really wanted to be a partner. I wanted to have children, and I was blessed with that. But let's take a look at something that I'm really faced with right now with so many different people, and also in my own life, that the perception we have of our mother. Let's go back to biblical times. Way back when Mary, and I'm not sure if you know this story, and if you don't know this story, maybe look it up. It's an incredibly interesting story. This story goes something like this, and I'm paraphrasing it, okay? I'm just going to give you just an example of how I see this story. Not just a story, it actually did happen, but that's a different, that's, some people might debate that, but anyways, I'm not going to debate that today. I would like to discuss the mother of Jesus Christ, Mary. Let's take her for instance. She was what many biblical scholars will say was around 12 years old. And she was betrothed to Joseph. She is to marry Joseph. Mary and Joseph. But Mary becomes pregnant before marriage and before being with Joseph. She knows, and she's had the experience, and she says, no, it is with God, and it is divine, and I have been told this, but the whole community sees something else. The whole community thinks, oh, she's cheated. This is very bad. There are consequences to come to women who did that in those days. She was seen very differently. The perception of the people about her was a certain way. How she was living her life and what she knew her life to be was a certain way. It was not the same as the community. Was it going to be the same way? So as the story goes on, Joseph was told by the angels to please accept Mary. Do not push her out, because that's the first thing you wanted to do. You're pregnant with somebody else's baby. You must have been with somebody. He doesn't know. His perception is, from what he sees and what the community is saying, is this way. So the original mother of Jesus was perceived in a very negative way and wasn't believed for a very long time. And even to the time of Jesus's crucifixion, the mother of Jesus is pushed down. She's pushed aside. She's not held up to who she knows she is. The community treats her the way that they perceive her to be. Probably, maybe, I'm not sure. Jesus' brothers probably didn't treat him any differently. They didn't treat his mother any differently or anything else like that. So it's all about perception of that person, and perception of your mother, and perception of what your mother is supposed to be. And if things didn't quite line up the way that you thought they should be, do you treat your mother differently? Because you don't understand it from her point of view. I use that example of Mother Mary and Jesus because that is one of the most profound examples of misconception ever. She is this mother that she knows that she is, but the world or her children or whoever in the community don't see her that way. Is that maybe sometimes how we've seen our mother? And I'm going to confess right now, I've probably seen my mother that way. This was a very hard topic for me to talk about today because my mother is in heaven. I had a relationship with my mother, and I had a perception of my mother that was one way. I didn't actually know my mother. Because maybe she might have felt that if she actually truly let me know who she is, maybe she would have been afraid and vulnerable, and maybe I would have judged her and this and that. And that's the thing. Whoever thinks they are the perfect mother, throw the first stone. I'm not a perfect mother. So how dare I judge my mom? I didn't really know her. And after she's sadly passed away, some people want to chatter about her and discredit her. And that's not okay. And so I really want to encourage people today that whether you are a mom, that you have been blessed with children, I believe you're doing the best that you can. Because let's take a look at that. How have we been a mother? What was my experience? What was my mother's experience? What was my mother's experience? All of that is a cyclical way of living. And so we have to take a look at that. If we want a different situation, see it differently. But I'm going to choose to see my mother in a very positive light today. And that if I was holding judgment against my mom, which I have, and some of my friends might have known that, it's been hard. It's been hard with some of life's trials that have gone on with my mom, or even with anybody's mom. We can have moms that we are estranged from. Maybe our own mother doesn't want to talk to us for some reason. Maybe there's misconception on that end. Maybe there's parent alienation. Maybe there are moms who want to see their children, but the fathers don't let them. Maybe some people have chosen not to have children for their own experience, for their own life experience, which is just fine too. And they have pets that are their fur babies. There are so many different types of moms and so many different types of families and dynamics. But the bottom line here is today that I just want to say this: there is no perfect mother that can say, I have it all together and I'm better than you and I'm this and that. Mothers, it is what a wonderful gift from God. But I also have to tell you, at times, it can be a very thankless job. Our children may not understand where we come from. Our children may not understand. They might say, but this parent over here has this, and this guy has this, and this family has this, and I don't have this, and why do I have to grow up in poverty, and why do I have to grow up in this and this? It is character shaping. If you haven't called your mother in a while, please call her. If you haven't called your children in a while and allowed them to call you, moms, please take the calls from your children. Take the calls, accept the calls, make the calls, do the calls. You know what we used to do? We used to do these different books, right? I'm a very proud mom, and I've written different pages in here. I recognized even the other day I had a lock of Alex's hair and Paige's hair in here. And this was something too that I made for my mom. And I must have sat, I don't know if you can see it, I didn't really check and see how this goes, but anyway, I'm just kind of showing you up front. But when I found out that my mother was dying of breast cancer, I sat for several days and never really left the table until I had made this incredible scrapbook of all the years that are about our life and how I loved her and how she was such an incredible cornerstone in our family. When she died, that was terrible. I take back, and I'm sorry for how I saw my mom after she passed away. Never do that. Don't speak poorly of your mom and dad once they've passed away, and don't ever let anybody else speak poorly of your parents once they've passed away. That's not fair. They're not here. Love your parents. If they're here today, call them. Let them know. I would love to hear from my son. Happy Mother's Day.